Pregame.com.
In my opinion, one of the best rivalries in all of college football on CBS Saturday afternoon. This is Brad Powers, Pregame.com studios, just off the Vegas Strip. We've finally come to the final game of the 2017 college football regular season. It's the Army-Navy game.
Can't be that much of a rivalry if Navy wins almost every year. Who do you like?
I like Navy to not only win, but also get the cover here. That's right, we're taking the Middies minus the 3. That's all about last year's game and what happened to it in that game for me. It was an outlier. He already talked about Navy always wins this game. In fact, they had won 14 straight series meetings, but what happened last year was definitely an outlier. Navy was down to a third-string quarterback making his very first career start, and still even then they almost won the game outright. And in fact, they didn't have a bye prior to last year's game. They're coming off a conference championship game. Neither one's the case here. That's why I like Navy to get some revenge. Take Navy minus the 3.
Now, Navy this year has had multiple quarterback injuries. Update me on their injury report there.
Yeah, and with the extra bye, all 3 are going to be healthy. And if you're breaking it down, you look at Perry. He's the better athlete of the bunch. He ran for 280 yards in the win over SMU. AB is the one that started last year's game. He's got the most experience, and he's probably the most physical runner. Doesn't matter who lines up behind center, and they haven't announced a starter yet, but at least they're healthy this year.
Let's talk total here. 2 option teams, wise guy, secret. Whenever 2 option teams play, especially these 2 teams, the wise guys bet under. The option is a flawed offense that, think about it, the way to move the ball is to throw the ball, not to run the ball. But the option works because you get teams that have not seen it before. They can't practice it properly, and you're exploiting a defense that's completely inefficient. But the defense knows what to do, like both of these teams. That's all they see in practice. They absolutely can stop it. There's a reason 10 straight years these 2 teams have yet to crack 50 points.
Yeah, and not only 10 straight years yet to crack 50, how about 11 straight unders in the series? The under's 11-0. Average total score in those 11 games, 37 points per game. Now, you're right, the wise guys continue to hit this, and I don't know why this gets priced in the 50s. Every time it's an opener in the 50s. They've hit it down to 46 here, but I still lean with the under.
Let's talk about last year's conference championship game. Navy had to play a tough Temple squad. That took a lot out of them. I really think that's why they lost that game. If they had won that game, they'd be staring at a 15-game winning streak, and we'd be looking, I think, at a point spread of 5 instead of 3.
You're exactly right. Another reason why last year's game was such an outlier. First time ever, Navy doesn't have a bye prior to Army, and they're coming off a conference championship game. Oh, yeah, in that conference championship game is when their starting quarterback got hurt, hence them having to start a third-string quarterback making his first career start.
Your second key handicap.
Second key handicap, let's talk about Navy playing a much tougher strength of schedule this year. In my top 50 of my power ratings, Navy's played 5 of the top 50 teams. Army's only played 2, so when you're looking at Army's stats, yeah, they look superior to Navy, but that's because they played much weaker competition.
I think it's a great point that in NFL handicapping, the strength of schedules vary, but they're close enough. We just look at yards per play, yards per pass, yards per rush. But in college, there's such a disparity in the strength of schedule and how good the teams are. You have to normalize the results based upon who you played.
Yeah, and the beauty about the end of the regular season is you just don't have a couple of data points. You've got 10, 12 data points, and strength of schedule is one of and the disparity is one of the tools I use as far as handicapping the bowls.
It's payback time this year. Let's make it official.
Yeah, let's make this official. We're taking Navy minus the 3, although you might want to wait. You couldn't possibly get a better number on game day. It's all about last year's game being an outlier. Navy had won 14 straight series meetings, but last year they're down to a third-string quarterback. They're coming off a conference championship game. They get revenge here, and Navy's just has played a much tougher strength of schedule than Army. Their stats say they're the weaker team, but in reality, they're the stronger team here, and that's why they cover the spread. Go Navy!
Beat Army!
More videos, pregame.com.